Hi guys, Jen Crowley the Art Gal here, and today we're making a super fun project with super cute little sheep. We're going to be talking about foreground, middle ground, and background. Today's project is super simple, so you just need a few supplies. A paintbrush, mine has a pretty small end, which is helpful for painting our tiny sheep. Some white paint, a Sharpie, or a black marker. A piece of green paper and a piece of blue paper. If you don't have colored paper, you can paint a piece of paper or color it with a marker or a crayon. And we have this handy dandy printout that explains foreground, middle ground, and background. And of course the sky. So now that we know what we're making and what we need, let's skip to the good part and make some art. I have my two pieces of paper, my background for my sky, and then my green for my hills. And so I'm going to go maybe about a fourth way down the page and just cut kind of a wavy line across my page to make my hillside. Did I say you need scissors? If I didn't say scissors, you need scissors. Now I'm going to get my glue and I'm going to glue my green paper to my blue paper. Now my background paper is ready. I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to draw in my fence lines. So I'm going to start here in the back and I'm just going to trace this line that I made where my papers come together. You can see my line went a little over. That's okay. We're going to fix that in a minute. So now this is the back fence, so it's supposed to be small. So I'm going to make a second line pretty close to my first line. Just following the path that I made the first time. It does not have to be perfect. I'm going to make little lines across it to show that it is a fence. I'm going to do the same thing in the middle of my page. Make a line. Again, it does not have to be perfectly straight. And then this time I'm going to add a little bit more space, following my first line to make my fence. And then I'm going to make my fence the same way across the bottom. This time adding a little bit more space in between my lines. Now, in order to fix my mistake up here, make it a little less obvious, I'm going to take this green marker and just kind of add a shadow underneath my fence line on all three of my fences. And then while I have it out, I'm just going to go ahead and make a few little grass marks in my fields here. You can either make a squiggly line or just three little lines that come together at the bottom. Is a great way to make the illusion of grass. And now I'm ready to add my sheep. I'm going to use my piece of paper from the top that I cut off as my paint palette. So I'm going to get my white paint and just give myself a little blob. And I'm going to start at the top with my tiniest sheep. You know what? Let's start at the top with our clouds. So you can paint clouds in a couple different ways. I like to sometimes just do 3 circles. A smaller circle, a bigger circle in the middle that's touching the first circle, and then another smaller circle on the other side. And then you can kind of go in and like fill out the bottom and adjust it kind of so that they look a little more full. Or I'll draw a line across the bottom and then add in my circles. White tempera paint can be a little transparent or see-through, so sometimes you have to do more than one layer, but you don't want to glob it on, otherwise it will take forever to dry. You can see I have just the tiniest little bit on my brush. I'm just painting my little clouds, make them nice and fluffy in the sky. Okay, now my tiny sheep. That's even too much paint. Just a little paint on the end. And I'm just doing a little circle. How did I already get paint? A little blobs in my background, because these are the sheep that are farther away. Now you can do as few or as many sheep as you like. So again, you might need a second to go over it a second time, but don't glob it on. Okay, now my sheep in the middle. Again, a little bit of paint, and these sheep are going to be just a little bit bigger. So same thing, I'm going to still make circles, but I'm going to make them just a tiny bit bigger. Keep getting paint everywhere. Some sheep can be bigger than others, but you don't want any of them too big or as small as the ones that are farther away on your hillside. Let's put one more back here. And then one right here. So you can see that's kind of see-through compared to the others, so I'm just going to go over that one more time. And then finally, my big sheep down here at the bottom. I'm going to have a fewer of them because, one, there's not as much space, but they're also bigger. So instead of a circle, I'm going to paint an oval for these guys. Now, if when you get your big sheep painted, you are looking at your picture and like, you don't feel like the sizes are right, you can always adjust them. Make these a little bit bigger, or make these guys a little bit bigger to match more with the other scale, the scale of the other sheep. I'm going to do another one right here, and then maybe one guy right here. Not as big as the others, but still bigger than those. Now your blobs do not have to be perfect. I don't know if you've seen sheep in real life, but their fur, their wool, kind of just all over the place. So they don't have to be perfect circles or perfect blobs. Full transparency, this is going to take a minute to dry. Paint your paint, go eat some lunch, play outside, maybe do a math lesson, come back and it'll be dry. I have one that I've already painted and is already dry, so we're ready to move on to our last step. I'm going to get rid of my paint, and I'm going to get my Sharpie and add my little sheep head and their legs. So again, I'm going to start all the way in the back with my sheep back here, and just to one side, either the right or the left, it doesn't matter, I'm going to take my Sharpie and add a little circle kind of near the top of my blob. Can you see that? Just connected his little head on there, and then I'm going to give him 4 little legs. I'm just going to make a little, almost like a triangle, but not connected. So can you see that? There's front legs and his back legs. And I'm going to do that for all of my tiny blobs. Tiny head, tiny legs. See? So cute. And like I said, you can either make it on one side or the other. Your sheep do not have to all be facing the same direction. This guy's really little. It's a baby. This guy's a little chunky. Okay. Like I said, a little bigger. There we go. And then my last sheep that's far away. And I'm going to do the same thing for my sheep that are here in the middle ground. So I'm going to look at the shapes of my blobs. This one's kind of pointing upward. So I'm going to turn my paper a little and make him kind of, maybe he's having a conversation with these sheep up here. I'm going to turn him like he's walking up the hill. And maybe this guy too. Let's see. And then this guy. And then this guy's wondering what the heck's going on over here. What everyone's looking at. And then my big sheep. So I'm going to give these guys a big head and bigger legs, because they are closer to us. And that's it. You have now made your sheep on a hillside, some in the foreground, some in the middle ground, and some in the background. I'm so happy with the way that my sheep meadow turned out. I like to imagine I'm in Ireland standing on a hill, gazing out on all of my sheep that I'm taking care of. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'll see you next time. And until then, keep creating, keep exploring, and keep making art. Bye.